Director of Development at Abilities Plus. I've been at Abilities Plus for 41 years, so I'm hoping to retire this summer. So this might be the last actual presentation I give. We haven't given too many the last couple of years. But I do remember being here a couple of years ago and how welcoming everyone was, so it's just a pleasure to get to come back. So thank you. Thought I'd tell you just a little bit about Abilities Plus, and I'll try to be real brief. We've been around since 1959. We were started as a school for children because back then there was no special education. And I know we give tours sometimes to high school kids and they just can't believe there was no special education. It's like, no, people would try to send their kids to school and if it didn't work, there were no options. So it was started by a group of parents as a volunteer organization, and they raised money with bake sales and things like that. And we've grown to have well over a $2 million budget now and serve over 200 individuals every year from Henry Stark and Western Bureau counties. So it's really grown within the last 60 plus years. One of the programs that we have is a children's program. We actually had two children's programs, and some of you might remember Lori Doyle, who was from Cambridge, who passed away a few years ago. She was an early interventionist, and that particular position requires credentialing. We just haven't been able to find anyone to replace her that has the correct education and credentials. So we do have another children's program, a Parents as Teachers program, and they serve everyone, and the one services in Henry Stark and Western Bureau counties, and it's to really train parents to work with their children, to nip any issues in the bud when kids are very little. That program is for kids birth to age 3. And I always want to make sure people know that we serve children, because I think a lot of people just think we serve adults. So that is one program. We do have people now, actually one brand new staff, so we have 2 people in that program that are bilingual now, and an additional 2 folks, so there's 4 staff in that program. Our residential services, you might not realize that we have 4 group homes. We have 3 of them in Kewanee. We actually built one in 2010 that I'm going to tell you just a little bit about because something happened there recently. And then we built a brand new one in Anawan and just opened that up in October, so I didn't know if you knew that. But that group home in Anawan was because of a request from a gentleman in Geneseo. He left us enough money to build that entire home, so there were no loans. So that was just amazing. There are some extremely generous people out there. So right now we have 17 individuals in our group homes. We were planning to add 3 more in the fall. And the group home that I was telling you about in Kewanee that we built right on our property on Northeast Street, I believe it was December 7th, I think it was Pearl Harbor Day. The building is sprinkled because there are people, so it's got sprinkler systems in the ceiling because we have people in there that have very severe disabilities and are in big wheelchairs and power wheelchairs and things. Well, a pipe burst and flooded that whole entire building. And I've seen buildings before where pipes have burst like on the floor and you have damage. This was incredible. So that afternoon, it happened I think around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There was nobody in the facility when it happened because folks come to our day program from the residential facility, but they had to find immediate shelter for all 8 of those folks that day. And years ago it happened, but the people that we had were ambulatory, so we just put them up in a motel in Kewanee. Well, that doesn't work with folks that are in big wheelchairs that need to be lifted and things like that. So, because we serve people with all different kinds of disabilities. So that's been a challenge on top of the pandemic, which has been another challenge for folks in our group home and in our day programs. We have had some COVID issues. We're having them again right now as kind of the second round, or third round, or whatever, with both our clients and our staff. But fortunately, even though we had somebody hospitalized, we didn't have anybody that passed away. So we're very lucky there because some of our folks have very fragile health conditions. Our day programs, we have 2 different day programs. Folks come from all over, so you probably see our vans around picking up people that live at home, and then all the folks that are in our group homes come to our day programs too. We do contractual jobs for different businesses where people get paid piece rate to send out mailings and to do small assembly type jobs and to clean facilities. We actually clean quite a few churches, one in Toulon and then multiple churches in Kewanee along with office buildings and our resale shop, which is on North Main Street in Kewanee. And I did want to do a little plug for our resale shop because that is manned by volunteers, and then all that money comes right back to Abilities Plus, which has been a godsend for us, really. It's $40,000 to $50,000 a year profit, which just blows my mind because they're only open a very limited time during the week, but it's amazing. We have other programs like respite care, where we have trained sitters that go into folks' homes all around the area to give caregivers a break, whether it's a parent or a brother or sister that's caring for someone with a disability. We operate Henry County Public Transportation, which are those vans you see around. So besides bringing people to our day program, we also pick people up at the courthouse when they need to go for an appointment, or to the doctor's appointments, or get their hair done, or just dialysis. We take a lot of people to dialysis. So we operate that program too, and that's a grant-funded program, so it's very minimal cost to travel around the area. Let's see, and then pre-COVID, one of our big pushes is to get people out in the community as much as possible. We're starting to do that again, but I think that's really critical because a lot of our folks, it's really hard for some parents to take their son or daughter out to different events when you have to load them, into a wheelchair and get a special van and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of our real pushes, to get people to become part of the community. Some of our folks have part-time jobs and they come to us part-time. We serve people with all different kinds of disabilities, cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome. We have people that are hearing impaired, one that's totally deaf that uses sign language, just people with vision problems, so all different kinds of disabilities and all ages. Like I told you, we have the children's program, and then we also have the adults that come to our program are usually right out of special ed through, our oldest now I think is in his late 70s, so it's a really wide spread. And I just wanted to thank you again for your support. I've had the position of development director of development for, I kind of lose track, probably 7 years. But I had no idea before that position just how generous people are. Like we said, that gentleman from Geneseo that passed away and left us enough money to build a group home. It's incredible. So I want to thank you because we couldn't do what we do without the support of local communities, and I'll stick around afterwards if anybody has any questions. I did leave some brochures and information out front too, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Julie. And here we thought it was just a store. You do so much more. Thank you.